here outside of Kansas City with the ministry headquarters. I'm in my little office here at our thrift store, food pantry / community storehouse. Gonna get something to drink and get this show on the road. Well, the chat is open if you'd like to say hi. I'm gonna try and point this away from the piles here. Cindy is, dear sweet wife Cindy, is out on the road, an hour or so away. We're getting this bouncy. We're getting some mobile homes donated to move here that will get be available for folks that need them. And to cut the cost of the move, we have to do a lot of the work. So she's out with a crew, putting axles up underneath them and jacking them up and airing up the tires and getting them down on their haunches so that they can be towed easily this week. And then the tow guy with the big expensive tow truck just has to hook up to it and drag them an hour this way. And then our crews will get under there, jack them back up, take the axles off, put them on blocks, strap them to the ground, all the stuff that's required, hook up all their utilities and everything else. I am welcome. Jopie, always usually the first one on here. I'm going to open this so that I can keep up. Usually the first. There we go. Boy, that's a pretty good camera. See all my wrinkles glare off my head there. We got a bunch of stuff coming. We'll see how that does. Okay, good. I got a chat window up here now, so I don't have to follow on the phone. Unlokia. And Nick, God bless you. Welcome. There's Josh. He's working at the front of the thrift store at the moment. Usually on Mondays, he keeps it open a little later till I finish a live stream, and then we close it all down for the day, check the numbers, and get money out for the bank and tomorrow and lock it all up. Unlokia has been asked if the Maori haka is ungodly. It's funny because as crazy-eyed as it may look, the words are generally pretty innocuous. When you see the translation of the poem that they're saying, I don't think it's ungodly. Oh, I'll get a light on here. That would help. There you go. Huh? Ungodly. I don't think so. Fear. The at the root, you're trying to scare your opponent into leaving the battlefield so you don't have to kill them. And there's something strangely noble about that, in the sense of avoiding bloodshed by intimidation, I suppose. And it certainly is. I could pull up biblical examples of God terrifying his enemies. Gideon is a good example. Gideon is not so sure that this strategy of taking 300 guys against 135,000 is the best thing ever. And so he asked the Lord to kind of confirm it for him. This is Judges 6 and 7, I think. And so Gideon sneaks down into the camp of the Midianites, and he's hiding behind a tent. And one of the soldiers is in the tent saying, I had this dream. And in this dream, a giant barley roll rolls down the hill and into the camp of the Midianites and just crushes the tents and kills everybody. And the other soldier says, that can only be Gideon, the mighty warrior of the Hebrews, coming to kill us all. And he's the least warrior from the least tribe. Nobody should know his name. And he's standing outside this tent, and they're shaking in fear of this mighty warrior Gideon who's coming for them. And the Lord is, anyway. So God says, go around the top of the hill, Surround them on 3 sides. The tent's down at the bottom. Don't worry about your sword. Take a torch with a jar over it and a trumpet. And at the middle of the shift change, in the middle of the night, break the jar, wave the torch, blow the trumpet, shout victory for God and for Gideon, and they're all going to kill each other. Seeing that many torches all the way surrounding them around the hill, and normally you'd have a couple of trumpeters per company, per battalion or whatever, but 300 trumpets all blowing in the middle of the night while they're sleeping and yelling and whatever, and God making it bigger than it really was, terrified them, and they took off, and in the tumult and confusion were killing each other. So Gideon's men just followed them, cleaning up the booty. It doesn't say that Gideon's men had to kill any of them. I don't think. And there was no casualties on Gideon's side, not even a wound. And they just, for miles, just followed them as they threw off their armor and their gold and their everything. So there's plenty of examples of God intimidating his enemies, even to the point where it avoided war, or avoided bloodshed. So I don't have a problem, even originally with the Haka. I mean, being cannibals and whatever back then wasn't good, but nowadays the rugby team just making faces at the other rugby team, it's not a religious thing. It's not a whatever. It's just a dopey tradition, like some of the songs they sing or the chants they have at soccer matches or whatever. So I don't have a big problem with it. Curtis, stay blessed. You too. God bless you. Curtis is what's the right word? A standard, a hallmark, a champion of commenting on all the videos to drive our numbers up. He's a trooper at getting out there, and even if it's just thanks for this video or something, just the number of comments on the videos helps with the metrics, and as does giving it a thumbs up and making sure that you're a subscriber. But I don't think anybody in all my years of doing this has commented on as many videos as Curtis has, and I appreciate it. It makes a difference somehow. Any questions or prayer requests you need, I want to be here for you and help out. However, if you just want me to tell stories, I can do that, or ask something about the Haka. I have a video about God intimidating his enemies and God's Haka, and how you should be the scariest, crazy-facedest, most warrior on the battlefield whenever you can, and intimidate the enemies of God. Loki is making jokes again. That's predictable. Let's see, what's the name of that video? Let me see if I can find a link here real quick for the God's Haka video. It's in the Extreme Spiritual Warfare series. Let me find you a link here. Yeah, okay, copy. Oh, how do I do that to my phone? I can't paste to my phone off the computer. It's called Does God Intimidate His Enemies? Extreme Spiritual Warfare. And you might check that one out. Oh, I gotta go back. Susan Evans, God bless you. I hear you got a puppy. I think SP Says, hey Doug, welcome SP. Have you been around before? Have we heard from you before? I don't recognize that login. Let's see, what's the news? Might as well announce day after tomorrow at 7 p.m., which I know might be late for some of you guys, but we'll see. Sandy, God bless you. 7 o'clock Wednesday, day after tomorrow, September the 4th, we're going to do a travail Zoom call. And it will be simulcast on YouTube as it's happening. And it's not Bible teaching. It's not a lot of talking. It's crying out to God. And we may have some topics or play a Keith Green song in the background. It's always good. Create in me a clean heart, oh God, and renew a right spirit within me. That always makes me cry. But send me an email to fotm@fellowshipofthemartyrs.com. That's, I'll put that in here, to get the sign up for the Zoom call, and then we'll get a chance to all pray together. If you, let me do this real quick. There you go. If you, travail is groaning, sighing, crying out, weeping prayer, deep, deep prayer. Some people don't understand that, don't have that. I believe it's a gift from God. Maybe if your only kid is in the hospital, you could have enough emotion and a deep enough whatever that kind of stuff lands on you. But some folks just walk in that all the time. And it's from the Lord. If you want to see where Jesus prayed in tongues, it's as he was walking up to the tomb of Lazarus. It said he wept and he groaned within himself. Multiple times it says he groaned within himself. And there's lots of verses in Lamentations and Ezekiel and other places where we're to raise up our wailing women, and the men should growl like bears and coo like doves for the destruction that's come, and other to cry out for how bad things are. And right now things are a lot bigger mess than we all realize. We don't know what's coming. The United States, there's talk about power outages. Who knows what October surprise is coming with the election, or if the idolatry of politicians, the idolatry of Monday Night Football, whatever. There's so much wrong that it's thick all around us, and there ought to be plenty of good reasons to cry about it. And prayers matter, especially serious prayers, and especially public serious prayers. I've been to a bunch of citywide or churchwide First Chronicles 7:14 prayer meetings. You know, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, when I will see and come and heal their land. I've been to a bunch of those in padded, air-conditioned rooms where it's private, sometimes after a continental breakfast, and the Lord's like, this is pretty well pointless. The people that need to hear the apology, the people that need to see the grieving, the people that need to also recognize and be comforted by the fact that there are people that see how bad things are out there in public. I spent 2 days crying on a city sidewalk one time, and you get bonus points for humbling yourself out in front of them when Ezra realizes that the princes and the priests are marrying foreign wives again, and they just got out of captivity and got back to Jerusalem. They're trying to rebuild the temple and rebuild the wall. He sits out in front of the temple in the public area and tears his clothes and throws ashes on his head and rips out his beard. And the people are like, dude, if he'd have done that alone in his prayer closet, it would never have got any attention at all. Nobody would know there was a problem. But because he was a leader and he went out in front and he did it publicly, then people come and they realize the severity, the seriousness of this, and that it's a big deal. And I've done that. I've ripped my beard out on video and lamented and repented, and I've prayed on my knees on city sidewalks and gone out in public and apologized to people for the state of the church, people most wounded, all over the country. If you want to be a part of that, if I'm there by myself, that's fine. We'll go until I run out of tears, which could be a while. But if you want to come, even if that's not something you do, but you think it might stick, if everybody around you's doing it and we can pour it out on you, that's okay too. Just come bow your head, and I know that it can be poured out, that it can be imparted. And that's part of my hope too, that people watching the video, maybe they're not on the Zoom call, but they're at home watching, and it sticks and something is loose, so that groan, that deep down travail cry of their heart can be heard. Sandy, Wednesday, day after tomorrow, at 7 p.m., September the 4th, we're having a travail Zoom call that will simulcast on YouTube. The following Wednesday at 7 p.m., we're having another Get Your Cup Full Zoom call. We did one a couple of months ago, and people have been asking to do it again. And so, again, I need you to email me at fotm@fellowshipofthemars.com. Let me know which one, which login you want, or both. And I'm not going to limit either one. We'll just see how many people want to participate, and we'll go from there. I have my whole camera rig and everything set up at my house, where we do the siding, the wood grain in the background, and so I can't really, if I hit my face on the ground, nobody's going to see it because the camera's right here. So we'll just stay sitting up, despite the desire to be prostate. But you do whatever you need to do. Let's see. The YouTube, Jorge, God bless you, says, so it's fine to join the Travail via YouTube simulcast. If you want to pray at home while you're watching it on YouTube, no problem. I don't know how to have your camera connect to the YouTube one while we're doing the Zoom one. I don't know if that's what you meant. But absolutely, if you don't watch it till the next morning because you're in Europe and it's 2:00 in the morning and you watch it the next day, we're going to be crying. So you cry along with us whenever you watch it. You watch it once a week, once a day, I don't care, cry along with us. I don't think there's anything on YouTube like that. I don't know that I've ever seen anything on YouTube like it. I expect to get heat for it, and I'm okay if I'm the only one doing it. If you don't want to be on the video, snot dripping down your face, and let's see, I'm doing a search real quick. I don't there's songs about it, but I don't need to see anything where there's just people crying out, people talking about travail and prayer, people whatever, but nobody actually doing it. So we're going to do that, and we're going to whatever. Sometimes it's groaning, sometimes it's tongues comes out, We'll try and balance everybody's comfort level with all of that. But um, I think it's hard to believe that there's something that's not already on YouTube. And I'm not doing it to break any records or be the first at anything. It's just my best thing. And it occurs to me that the Lord's given me visions of me on stage in front of stadiums full of people. And I don't know when that'll happen, but in all the visions, all the dreams, whatever, the pictures of that, I'm not preaching. I'm on my knees weeping and pouring it out on the whole stadium, and they're on their knees weeping. And I know that that is part of revival history. Evan Roberts, in the Welsh revival, 100,000 people got saved in a year and spread all over. And even the Azusa revival, a lot of people credit the Welsh revival for the prayer for that. But we don't have hardly any of his sermons written down because mostly he just cried. And sometimes he would sit on the front row and pray until he was ready, and then would get up on stage. And they say that there were churches that sat 300 that were filled with 500 people shoulder to shoulder waiting for 3 hours. You could hear a pin drop for 3 hours while he prayed until he was ready, and then he would get up on stage, hit his knees and cry, and the whole place would bust. I can't even imagine what kind of crowd of 500 people you could gather that would sit around motionless for 3 hours without checking their phones, without fidgeting, without whatever, while the minister got himself ready to speak what the Lord wanted to speak. Anyway, I'll do my prep praying ahead of time, so I'm ready when the call starts. You don't have to wait. But that's the plan for this Wednesday. And then the following Wednesday, we're going to do another lecture about how to get your cup full, the reality of it, praying for you to get your cup full, imparting whatever to you that will get your cup full, and learning how to reach up and touch the hem of his garment and get your cup full all by yourself, wherever you are, whenever, whether you're on an island or Romanian prison or working your job at the bank or whatever. 7 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday. Send an email to fotm@fellowshipofthemartyrs.com, and I'll shoot you back the time schedule. Let me know if you want one or the other. The Travail Zoom call will be this Wednesday, and there'll be another video I'm going to put out with more information about this. I did a short just a few minutes ago that should be going out about this. But next Wednesday is the Fill Your Cup, how to get your cup full Zoom call, and we're going to do that next Wednesday at 7 as well. I'm hoping to do some follow-up video with Mike Smith from Hardcore Christianity in Arizona. I haven't got a schedule with him yet. Darius Good and I have talked about doing another video about marriage and remarriage. That should be coming out soon. And I've got a yes preliminarily from Kent Hovind, Dr. Dino, to do an interview with us. If there's somebody else you think is reachable and I can do an interview with, I'd love to do it. Let me know who you think would be a good one to hear from. Chuck Girard was a couple weeks ago. He was one of the really important pioneers in the Jesus music 1970s movement. Let's see, where am I here on the comments? Central Time, yep. Shani, God bless you. Love you. Glad to sort of see you. Yeah, Jorge, pray at home while it's on YouTube. Wisconsin, Denise, God bless you. Love you. Let's see, Jorge. At least you can do the audio. Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube while we're doing it on Zoom, I guess is the way that works. Sandy, yes, Panama and Missouri are in the same time zone. Kent has, I got an initial email back from Kent saying yes, but then we haven't got any farther than that. So I'm going to email him. On my home computer where I've got all that stuff, I don't have much on this thing here at the office. I probably need to get a portable drive and copy everything important over to the laptop here. Okay. Shnee's cooking. Here. Uh-oh. Just said reconnecting. Tell me everything's okay, guys. Bill Sweeney, Kingdom Light are going to Hardcore Christianity in November. I thought you were coming here sometime. Bill, I thought you were headed this direction. It seems like you sent me an email. Let's see. We're coming up, can't believe it's September. We're in the end of the third quarter. October will be the beginning of the fourth quarter of the year, business-wise. I have to start thinking about Thanksgiving pretty soon. We cook for about 150 people here, have a big buffet line, clear out the warehouse. It's a bunch of work to clear up a bunch of space. And then we cook for about 150, and then usually 100 or so come for dinner. And then we make to-go boxes with the rest of the meals and go out wherever the Lord says in teams. It's pretty cool as a listening experiment to be in a car with 4 people and you're like, okay, where do we go? And everybody hears that way. And then somebody says, stop here, and you go in the staff that's having to work on Thanksgiving at the gas station, you give them a hot meal, and they're so grateful. And one year, we all caravan downtown, and we stopped at the bus station. If you're sitting at a bus station on Thanksgiving, somebody ought to feed you. And we took them meals, and then we had lots more. We had like 60 meals. And somebody yelled, stop. They saw a guy peeing on a wall. And he went over and asked him if he wanted a meal. And he said, no, I just ate. But there's a pantry down that way that was supposed to have hot meals, but the church that was bringing them didn't come. And they could really use them. So sure enough, we drive down to this little church and go down the basement. And they're breaking out beanie weenies and oranges because the Thanksgiving people that said they were going to come didn't show up. And so I walk in and I'm like, hey, how about 60 hot meals? And they're like, oh, praise God, you're right on time, and God provides. And they had like 2 people who'd gone through the line getting oranges. And so here we come carting in all this last minute. God had a backup, cared about them, was going to feed them one way or the other, had us prepared 45 minutes away to a place we didn't know about, had a homeless guy that knew it, that was peeing on a wall, tell us where to go. Might have been an angel. I don't know if they have to pee, but, whatever. Got our attention. And it was just really, really beautiful. And we prayed with them and hugged them, and God blessed them, and off we went. Everybody was just shocked how beautiful it was. Zach says, hello, Doug. I recently visited a church where the speaker was encouraging being drunk in the spirit. People were screaming and laughing uncontrollably. Is this contrary to the fruit of self-control? Yes. It is evidence of some bad theology, of a fleshy, sensual kind of churchianity that I would run from and have talked about a lot. And frankly, opens the door to Kundalini and Python and other stuff. Shani says, what books do you recommend to read first in the Bible? The Gospels. Yeah, I would start with the book of John. and then read Matthew, Mark, and Luke. But John is a very self-contained, a manageable, bite-sized chunk that is one of the things people mostly recommend. In fact, the Pocket Bible Institute, Pocket Bible Society, I forget, they have little books of John they'll send out for free if you'll pass them out. Look them up and get in touch with them. Pocket Testament League, that's what it is. And they have little Bibles too, but the little books of John are very affordable to be able to produce in mass and give away. And is a great place. A lot of the verse of John 3:16 and a lot of the other ones we quote very concisely give the gospel in bite-sized pieces. But I would read John and then Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and then probably Acts and Romans after that. Bill, can't wait to see you either. We're looking forward to it. As many as you want to bring. Let's see. Yeah, Cindy, when she got saved, started in Genesis, and there's a lot of like, you want me to kill what? they cut them in half, and the fire god moving between them, and there's like, does anybody know this is in here? But I think John's a good place to start. Oh, Sandy, you like that story? I'll give you another one. There was a different year. Me and a guy from out of town were in his car, and we had probably 10 meals. And some people went down to the bus station in Kansas City, and we were feeling like to stay here in Excelsior Springs. So we went to a couple of places we knew people were stuck working, and then we stopped down by City Hall behind a bunch of the businesses. There's a baseball stadium. It's not a stadium, it's a baseball field, but a lot of homeless people sleep out in the woods around there. And we were just kind of sitting there praying about what to do. And below Ray's Diner, there's an apartment for the guy that owns Ray's Diner. And we're just sitting parked, not in his driveway, but near. And we're just sitting there with the car running. And so he comes out and is like, can I help you guys? I'm like, well, here's the deal. We got food and we don't know where to take it. He's like, follow me. And he takes off walking. We go down a couple of blocks and whatever, and then he stops and he says, look, I don't want him to know that I had anything to do with this. I've been helping out where I can, but mom and dad of this family with 4 kids are all in jail. The mom and dad are in jail. The social service is about to come and get all the kids. I've been trying to feed them, but the oldest 2 kids are trying to take care of the younger ones and whatever, and they could really use this. But I don't want them to know I had anything to do with it. I'm like, okay, I don't even remember your name. So we pull up in front, knock on the door. Hi, we're from Jesus. We brought you Thanksgiving dinner. And these 4, a couple of like a 16-year-old, 12-year-old, 8-year-old, 6-year-old. And they're all like just glowing. And me and Rick start crying. And they don't have anything in the fridge. So we like, wait just a minute. We go back to the car. We get everything. And just load them up with everything that we had in the car, like 15 meals. And then just go back to the car and just cried, prayed for them. And it's really beautiful when you just let the Lord lead. Don't plan it out. Don't work it out. Just try to listen. And even if you're not hearing where to go, he'll send somebody to tell you where to go. He'll make it clear. It's a really beautiful thing. So I encourage you on Thanksgiving or whatever you do in whatever country you're in, make up some sandwiches or make the best you can, really nice meal for some holiday, and just ask the Lord, who can I give this to that needs it? And then you'll have a great story to tell that will prove that he's real. Shni thanks me for what to read. Yep, I think you'll really enjoy it. I'll be glad to talk to you about it if you want. Lokia, please pray my dad won't fall asleep on the kitchen counter and will follow his natural instinct to go to bed. Amen. Amen. I fall asleep sitting up a lot, and it's actually better for my back, but I sleep sitting up a lot. Um, Jorge, your dad must have a strong back. Sounds painful to sleep on. Yeah, I wouldn't sleep on a dinner table. Um, Bray, I do have to say, Doug, you do look very good for being like 56 now. Your skin is pretty young and vibrant looking. Well, thanks. Yeah, I don't know about my skin. I'm officially 57, uh, as it happens. Unlokia, the enemy loves confuse me, so I don't know where to start reading. Yeah. Um, Howard Sutton says, need to pray for those on Aurora, Colorado who live in those apartments that gangs have taken over. Yeah, I'm sure it's not just there either, but there are immigrant gangs, I think, from Venezuela. They have released a lot of people from prison. And it makes sense. Any country that can unload your troublemakers on us, then you don't have to pay to feed them and clothe them every year. And our taxpayers will have to do it. And it has the added effect of destabilizing an enemy country, which we are in Venezuela and other communist countries. But yeah, we pray for those in Aurora in those apartments that are being taken over and other places that God would help find a solution. And I hope the church can be a solution and not just politics and the government, but revival would probably be the best possible solution. If they all found Jesus, it would probably change everything. Let's see. I just lost my. There we go. Ethan says, we did this yesterday. We had leftover brisket that I smoked and we gave it out to the people that needed it the most. Amen. Ashley says, praise report. We had a building burnt down. We're still able to rejoice. Right on. I suppose that's in the Philippines where he is now. We got people here from all over. It's pretty cool. Jorge says, in Queens, New York City, they cracked down a lot of them doing sex trafficking. Yeah. The thing that's been on my heart lately is there are a lot of children all over the country disappearing. And they're not talking about it much on the news because it doesn't play well for the politics of everything. But if you do a little research, there's children disappearing all over the place. And lots and lots of big groups of missing children. In the United States anyway. Sandy's looking forward to what happens this Thanksgiving. Yeah, last year I did a little teeny short video, a couple on the days ahead, getting ready for it, and then the day of I didn't do much video because I feel like it's I don't want to use people that come for a free meal or that come to a food pantry or come for prayer or something. I don't want to use them for ratings or blast them out there, because they had a need or whatever. It just feels wrong. But this year we'll try to do more video. I'll probably assign it to somebody that's not as busy. I'd seriously lose my mind and collapse at the end of that thing. It's a ton of work. We've got some ladies now. Maybe I won't cook so much this year. Last year I was solid busy for a couple of days ahead of time making angeled eggs because we don't make deviled eggs around here, and my cranberry dressing from scratch everybody always wants, and I make Ruth's Chris Steakhouse sweet potato casserole. Its recipe is available all over the internet for free and stuff, but it's, oh gosh, it kill a diabetic. I mean, it's like pounds and pounds of butter and the brown sugar and sweet potatoes. But Ashley Kiwi, our little friend, says, any idea how to fight procrastination? It's been a struggle here. I hear you. The best thing is just do it. Just get up and do it. Whatever it is, just do it. And as you practice getting up and doing it, it'll get easier and easier to resist that demon that says it's going to be a horrible thing It's going to be so hard. Why should we even bother or whatever? And then when you do it, it's like, yeah, it wasn't so bad. What airport to land near you, Jopi? That would be Kansas City International. If you want to book that to come visit, and when you let me know when you're coming, we'll be there to pick you up. It's about 25 minutes away from where we are, but it's no big deal for somebody to get out there and get you picked up at the airport and figure out a sofa or a bed or something to keep you on until it's time to go home. Kansas City International, yep. Uh, what else? The Brits really like that Indian food. It's like the national dish is some kind of curry. Uh, it just didn't. I mean, it was part of the empire, and we don't have that here. I mean, we have, Indian food, but it's not like the national dish like it is over there in England. Shani says, "Is there anything you disagree with in Orthodoxy and why?" Plenty. Uh, I believe the proper biblical model is the city church, one body per city under Christ, loving one another, meeting each other's needs, sharing with each as they have a need. And when you break up into teams, I'm for this pope, I'm for that pope, I'm for this metropolitan, I'm for this bishop, I'm whatever, then you've missed the whole point. And you're carnal, not spiritual. I have a problem with robes and candles. I have a video called When Did This Start? When Did That Start? That's on the website where you can see when the worship of Mary was introduced in whatever 1700s, when candles and robes and giant temples and whatever. There's nothing in the Bible in the Christian church that looks like Orthodoxy or the Catholic Church or the Episcopalian or the Anglican or any of that stuff. Jesus never said, go into all the world building giant gold-crusted cathedrals. It was about relationship. And I have a problem with a pyramid where there's a guy at the top telling you what to do instead of lifting the people up to the Lord and being a servant. I have a problem with the cathedrals. I have a problem with icons. I have a problem with traditions being just as valuable, just as important as Scripture itself. And lots of other stuff probably, but I try not to insult the heart of serious people that are praying to God and really love Jesus. But structures are different. Structures aren't going to heaven. The Southern Baptist Convention doesn't have a soul. The Anglican Church isn't going to heaven or hell. It's just a man-made thing. Loyalty should never be to that. Loyalty should be to Jesus. And if loyalty is going to be to Jesus, then you say, okay, what do you want? He says, I want you. Don't need a building. Don't need a pipe organ. I want you. And probably I want you to go tell more people about me. That's what matters. So there are careful, serious, Bible loving, Jesus loving people who are in the Orthodox Church. My loyalty would be to them, not to the structures or systems or traditions or anything else, beards that go along with it. Let's see. Ashley says, I heard of Bishop Mari Mari. Gosh, it seems like I have. Man, that does kind of sound familiar. I wonder if I have some scissors around here somewhere. Yeah, I've heard of him. Got stabbed in the eye by a guy and then forgave him, and it's beautiful. What are my thoughts on him? I think he's saying some good stuff. I think he is someone who has been injured by the system that he was a part of. He sort of stepped to the side, made his own system, and I don't know whether his system is doing the same thing to people or not. He seems to love pretty well. He seems to forgive pretty well. He seems to be approaching the heart of Jesus, and I consider him a brother. And I think the hat and the robe are unnecessary. Um, it's strange to me that people take you more seriously if you wear a funny collar, or if you put revered, reverend before your name. I don't like titles. I don't like affectations. There's a pastor I knew, just regular dude, but then you say, let's pray. Dear God, our Father, I pray in the name of mighty. And I'm like, oh, dude, can you be more fake? It's just an affectation. You got, come on now. Just, who taught you? Who taught you that? And affectations or additions, just uh, costumes, are just unnecessary distractions from the simplicity of Jesus and the gospel. So I don't go for funny collars or titles or whatever. It just robes and fish hats and whatever stuff. Some of it's outright pagan. If you look at the Catholic Church, and he's got a staff with an upside down cross on it. On his chair is an upside down cross. The fish hat is from Dagon worship. There's all kinds of goofy pagan stuff mixed in. But yeah, I grew up in Mexico, where every little town has a gold crusted cathedral that took 300 years to build on the backs of the peasants. And there's Virgin Mary up front and dead Jesus in a glass coffin in the back, and little old ladies walking on their knees for miles to light a candle as if that's going to do something. Uh, I've seen trails of blood from little old ladies on their knees walking to the Basilica of Guadalupe to see the shrine of whatever. I just, it's not like God just rolls his eyes. It really grieves. It really grieves him that we put people through this stuff and demand this stuff. Christianity is the only religion where you don't have to do stuff to be assured of your salvation. I've been doing a lot more watching and reading about the Mormons and all of the nonsense they have to go through, and ceremonies just to never really be sure if you did it all. The same with the Mormons. It's all about, did you give enough? Did you tithe enough? Did you go to enough temple things? Did you whatever? And it's not a free gift like it is from Jesus, that he died and offered us salvation in love instead of what can we do for him. Shani says, speaking of forgiving, what can I do to help me forgive others? Well, I find that a good prayer is to pray, Lord, let me see them through your eyes. And he is real good about that. And if your dad was mean to you and you pray, Lord, let me see him through your eyes, and then you see him as a little kid getting beat horribly by his dad, who was beat horribly by his dad, and you're like, my dad's only doing like 10% of what his dad did to him. He really is not so bad. He's really trying, and you see what he went through. And we had a kid that was here. His dad was Muslim, or stepdad or whatever was a Muslim, and he was raised in madrasas, and little white kid with red hair, and he just had this giant chip on his shoulder, and he'd get up in my grill and try to chest bump me religiously and stuff. And I'm like, Lord, I don't know any pastor would put up with him. Please give me love in my heart for him. And then he would remind me of what this kid's life was like and how beat up he was and how much the dad filter that he had that affected his relationship with me and the resentment he had toward his own dad. And then I could have pity on him instead of anger. You know, sometimes I'm driving and somebody cuts me off in traffic and I didn't do anything and they're flipping me off and honking at me and whatever. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I don't know what kind of days he's having, but you know, please help him, help their life, Lord, and thank you that you know I'm not going through whatever he's going through, and just bless him real good. And I think that's the right response when you see somebody just doing wrong, having a meltdown. A lot of times I'm like, Lord, I know that you're not going to let him treat me like that without consequences. Please try to go easy on him. And you know, I don't want to add my anger and frustration to the reasons why you're going to smack him. So Lord, just you know, if it's okay with you, I don't mind. You can let them up. You know, you don't have to hit their house with lightning or something. And then you can be merciful. And remember, one of the guys at the homeless shelter years ago, oh, my roommate's done this to me again, and over and over he keeps doing this. How many times do I have to forgive him? And I said, well, at least as many times as I've forgiven you for stuff. Oh, no. He knew that was a big number. Oh, shoot. And I wasn't even how many times God forgave you. I'm just like how many times I forgave you. And maybe that was as close as he could get to the idea of God, but you know, it challenged him. So, you know, how many times have you been forgiven? Has God forgiven you? How much more then should you forgive others? And when we remember that and walk in that place, it's not hard to see that they're sinners making mistakes, just like we do. And we want to be treated, you know, the golden rule is treat others as you want to be treated. Well, do you want to be forgiven or not? Do you want people to have mercy on you or not? Well, then you do that. It makes it better. Jorge, ask God to show you who you need to start forgiving. That's right. How do you get your heart to soften? Ask to see through his eyes. And he'll show you, you know. I don't think I can be canceled, but let me say something anyway that I hope people will understand and understand appropriately. God sees us all as little kids, and we're just bumping around trying to not make big messes and doing everything that I do, dealing with hard case folks sometimes, and even Christians that should know better. One time at the thrift store, I got a medal, a gold medal from Special Olympics, and I'd keep it in my pocket. And when somebody's on my last nerve, and I want to strangle them, I would reach in my pocket and I would rub that coin, and in my head I would just say Special Olympics, Special Olympics. And I have a picture of this beautiful, sweet kid. Maybe he's 30, and he's got Down syndrome. And he has practiced his little heart out to run a 100-yard dash in like a half an hour. And he's running as hard as he can, and he does it in 29 minutes. It's his best time ever, and he's so excited, and everybody's congratulating him, and he's dancing around. And there's guys from Jamaica can run it in like 9 seconds. There's probably other people at the Special Olympics thing can run it way faster. But he's just so excited and so happy, and he's done the best that he could possibly do. And I see the Lord looking down on me like that, with that kind of love. Like, oh, we're so proud of you, little guy. You did such a great job. we're here for you. We're going to Chuck E. Cheese tonight. and I just rub that metal in my pocket, and whoever I'm talking to that's on my last nerve, it starts to change. And I'm like, he's probably doing the best he can. I didn't anticipate the things he goes through, the struggles he has, the way his brain doesn't work right, or whatever else. And, I'm just going to love him and encourage him, because that's what the Lord does for me. And compared to him, compared to who we will be for eternity, we got like IQs of 2 down here. I mean, this is just practically brain dead. And anyway, so you're welcome to use that if it helps. But you need to understand that we're all seeing through a glass darkly. We all have limitations. We're all a little shadow of who he wants us to be, trapped in a world that wants to be something other than who he wants us to be. And yeah, anyway. So try that on. Sandy says, can we forgive someone and still be somewhat angry with them? I still feel a little hurt or upset, or does all of that have to go away to prove that we have forgiven them? Well, it should. And any of it that remains, you should let go of it. I don't know if it proves. I think you're still keeping something alive, and it would be better for it to be dead. And sometimes you grip something so tightly that your fingers grow around it, and it's all stuck like that, and you don't know why you're so angry, and you shouldn't be, but you just can't let it go. And the right prayer is, Lord, I know I'm holding it. I know I'm not supposed to hold it. I know I should have let go a while ago. Please take it, because I can't. I don't know how to let go anymore. And he'll start peeling your fingers back and breaking them if he has to. And one day you'll wake up and it's just gone. It's just not there anymore. Maybe it'll be quick. Maybe it'll be the next day. Maybe it'll take a little bit. Maybe he'll send somebody like me to tell you how to let go. But one consideration is, whatever you're holding against somebody else, how much do you want the Lord to hold against you? We expect, when we ask to cover it in the blood of Jesus, that it's as far from the east as from the west, that it's under the ocean, that it's out of his remembrance. But he says, what you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. So if you hold on to it, then it gets held on to there too. And it stays live. And we don't want that. And if you're going to do that to somebody else, do you really want God doing that to you? And then find out later that a whole bunch of stuff's not under the blood because you wouldn't let it be. That would be bad. So whatever it takes to try to apply in your relationship with others the kind of rules that he applies to you. Let's see. We're about an hour. Haven't done a full hour for a while now. Jorge's IQ is 0.5. Yeah, no argument. I'm with you. You probably about right. Vid Pop, God bless you too, man. Joe P says, God encouraged me today. That way, for a rare change, I started my prayer with being quiet, and in the distance, I heard the voice of a child expressing loudly, I love you, several times. That's beautiful. Yeah. Somewhere in the Dialogues with God book that I wrote, about halfway through, I started the prayer with, I love you, Lord, and then wait for him to say, I love you too. And then we started talking about whatever he wanted to talk about. And I think the next day he said, that thing you did, I really like that. Do that. So I pretty much always start prayers with, I love you, Lord. And get to hear him say, I love you too, son. And then we get on with whatever. Should I do this? Should I go there? Should I spend this money here? Whatever. And if I don't hear him say, I love you, I don't trust what I'm hearing. And I want to stop everything, make sure I'm okay, make sure my cup's full, make sure we're good. Not that he would withhold it if there was a problem, but maybe it's a tip off that I need to maybe I need to square up something else that's not right. So yeah. Anyway, Wednesday, send an email. Wednesday, 7 p.m. I'll do some more videos announcing it and stuff. Ashley says, there are Christian duty to serve a country going to war. Is there a draft or something else? If there is a draft. That's been debated by lots of different Christian groups. There are various groups like the Amish that will go, but they insist on being medics. And they don't. And then there are some that are conscientious objectors that just refuse to shoot anybody because they are pacifists, but will take jobs in other parts of the war effort, like cooks or medics or something else. So it is 7 p.m. right now, 7:02. I think everybody's going to have to work that out between them and the Lord. If there's a draft and you are forced to go, then I would ask to be in a place where you don't have to kill people, where you can benefit people. What is it? Hacksaw Ridge is a movie about that. It's really beautiful. The only guy that got a Medal of Honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, without ever shooting a gun. Shni says, how can I hear the Lord better? I do hear him now and again, but most of the time I hear something. I don't know if it's just me or the enemy. The typical advice I give people is turn the noise off. Get off the internet. Get off the radio. Get off whatever. Get off your phone. Sit under a tree. Look up at the stars. And then talk to him. Some people hear God real good in the shower, and they wonder why that is. I don't think it's because you're naked. I think it's because you're not on the phone. Probably. But the first thing is to be quiet. You may not hear him talking over whatever other junk you're doing, video games and who knows what. But we'll certainly have been praying, and we'll continue to pray for you to hear God better. Sandy says, thanks, Doug. That was a beautiful answer, and it totally makes sense to me. Well, good. Like I said, there'll be some video more about the announcement, but send an email to fotm@fellowshipofthemartyrs.com if you want to be on the Zoom this Wednesday, the Travail Zoom, or next Wednesday, the Fill My Cup Zoom at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you want to donate, Dominique is not here. He's in between. He's moving from South Carolina to Kansas, and it has a romantic possibility with a girl out here that God's leading him. But if you want to PayPal, you can PayPal to that address. I'll put it in here. If you want to give, and there's Cash App and Venmo and other instructions on the website. Zelle, mailing, I'll put that here too. Clayton, got a job. Great. Good for you, man. Just about to shut this down. Praying for you. Love you. Thank you all. I appreciate you. Appreciate your support and prayers. Some of you guys have been financially a huge blessing to us, and over the years and recently, and it just keeps everything going. And I sure appreciate it. Howard, God bless you. We will hopefully be back Thursday at 6. I think I've got this worked out to where I can do these on my phone if my phone is charged here at the thrift store. So we should be back Thursday. Maybe Cindy will be here. And praying for you all. Whatever comes, God's enough. God will get you through. He's never going to tell you to panic. He's never going to tell you to freak out. He's never going to tell you to be afraid. He's going to tell you everything's okay. I got this under control. I know what I'm doing. The worst thing that could happen is that you go be with him. So fear not. Love you guys. Bless you all. And we'll see you soon and hug you for eternity. In the name of Jesus. Bye-bye.